Once you guys see the finished product, I want you guys to tell me what you would do with it. So that's going to be my challenge to you guys. You let me know down in the comments what it is you would do with some of this pulled pork. Today, I'm going to be using Sammie. Yes, I know, it's been a while. Yo, this is Dash. Get ready. So I told you already that we're using Sammie today, but we're gonna be cooking some pulled pork. I'm using Tyler's seasoning. As well as some Lowry's. So at this point, let me get you down so you can see me get this seasoned up. First step, put some foil down. Second step, now, when I do my seasonings, I usually put my salt as a base and I put my salt down first. So we're gonna get in here with the Lowry's first. We're gonna season all sides, top, bottom, inside as well. Okay, so now that we have the Lowry's on, I'm gonna turn this over on the foil just to make sure that everything is coated, make sure I didn't miss anything. So I'm gonna put them fat side back up so I know where I started in relationship to the seasoning. Okay, so I have everything seasoned up. You guys saw the intense seasoning. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and get it outside on the grill. Okay. So I got my grill started a little while ago. Obviously, you guys saw me get it started. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and hurry up and try to get the pork shoulder in here. My grill, the thermometer on the grill was showing 200 and just over 250 degrees. So let's get this done before it gets too hot. So we're gonna see how, well, I know how long this is gonna take. This is gonna be a while. I'm not rushing anything. I'm not in a rush. So I am going to just try to make sure the temperature stays at about 250 degrees and we're gonna let it go. I am gonna get a thermometer in here so that I can monitor the temperature. All right, so this is for all of you guys who commented about the snow in the video when I was doing the potatoes. So hopefully you guys can see that we have some light flurries right now. My kids actually got out of school. This is like an inch of snow maybe. You see just enough. But I wanted to put this in the video for those of you guys who commented about the snow. One of you guys even said that you had never seen snow, so here you go. And yes, that smoke detector is still beeping.
Later.
Okay, so I'm out at Sammie, and the temperature, as told by the probe, says 268, and the internal meat temperature is 155. Unfortunately, I have an errand to run, and I have to leave. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this about an hour early. It's been on the smoke, well, it's been on Sammie for going on 4 hours now. Like I said, I got something I have to go take care of. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and put it in the house in the oven so I don't have to worry about it. And in order to make sure that it doesn't go above where I need it to go while I run this errand, I'm gonna set the temperature in the oven to 200 degrees, more or less. I wanna keep it warm. And then once I get back home, I can turn the heat back up or turn the heat up and then actually finish it. All right, so unfortunately, like I said, I have to run. So what I'm gonna do is get the pork shoulder out of the smoker and into the pan. I'm gonna take the pan in the house and then get it in the oven, but I told you that already. Oh man, take a look at that. Get the probe out, and I'm gonna close off the vents since this is already dirty. I'm gonna get that in the house, get it cleaned up, but I'm gonna get the pork shoulder. Now, if you notice, today I actually cooked with the fat side down. I don't normally cook with the fat side down, and I did that today because the heat is coming from underneath, and I wanted to try to help protect the meat. But the reason why I like to cook the fat side up is because when the fat side is up, the meat actually, or the fat, renders way better than it does when it's on the underside. I kind of keep having to tell myself I don't like when I put the fat side down. I actually prefer the fat to render way more and have the fat render down and around. But take a look at that. Man, not finished yet, but it's getting there. Okay, so I'm back in the kitchen, and we're almost ready. So I'm gonna get this covered up. I don't think I mentioned this. This is actually boneless pork shoulder. I prefer boneless. This boneless one works just fine. And like I said, I prefer the boneless. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna kind of try to get this down into the pan as much as possible, and then I'm gonna get it covered up with a different piece of foil because that's too short. Actually, you know what I might do? Put this on there. I'm gonna double up the top because the meat is definitely protruding. I want to make sure that I don't have any punctures. So now I'm gonna get it in the oven. Take out the top rack just to make sure there's enough room. It's gonna go directly in the middle of the oven, and I'll be back in a couple hours.
12 o'clock midnight.
almost there.
20 minutes later.
All right, so let me check this again. Oh yeah. What a difference a few minutes makes. Couldn't turn the oven off with the touchscreen with the gloves on my hand. Nothing much to this cook. People always ask me how long did it take. Well, how long your cook is going to take is going to depend on the temperature in which you're cooking. I told you guys I had something I had to go take care of. I went out, I came back, and because I drastically reduced the temperature on this pulled pork, it did not. When I came back home, it was 185 degrees. So I let it cook very slowly. And then when I got back in the house, I cranked the heat up to 300 and it finished within about a half an hour, 45 minutes of when I got home. So that being said, I guess you guys probably want to see down into this pulled pork. You guys, can you see the steam coming off of it? It smells pretty good. So I guess at this point, nothing else to do. I couldn't get the foil started. Woo! Ha! Oh man. I guess you want to see it too, huh? Right, there you have it. Now, this is just purely for this part of the video. Well, boom, there you have it. You can just see how easily this pulls apart. This color came purely from the charcoal. I added nothing else. I added no other wood to that charcoal, and I think that's pretty dope. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this rest for about an hour. So I feel that if you pull your meat or slice your meat when it's too hot, what ends up happening is it dries out prematurely. So I usually let my pulled pork rest for at least an hour, maybe even 2, depending on what type of event I have and when the event actually is. But because this is just for me and my family, I'm going to let it rest for an hour and it'll still be warm enough for me to pull. But before I wrap it up or before I finish with it, I want to show you guys what it is I have once it's done. Once you guys see the finished product, I want you guys to tell me what you would do with it. So that's going to be my challenge to you guys. You let me know down in the comments what it is you would do with some of this pulled pork. And I'll show you how I get it pulled. Basically, I'm gonna use these cotton gloves. These cotton gloves I got from Harbor Freight. They are really inexpensive. You can get like a pack of 12 for less than 10 bucks. I think that might have even been closer to 5. And what I do is I take the hot gloves, obviously to protect against the hot temperature, and I take the nitro gloves to make sure that I don't get anything on these gloves. And then I pull the pork. I pull my pork by hand. I've seen some folks use like shredders or even a KitchenAid. I like to pull my pork by hand so that I can get a good feel and pull out anything that will not give you a good mouthfeel, like any gristle or any veins or even any extra fat that hasn't rendered away. I like to pull those things out by hand, and I haven't had any complaints. So all right, let's dig in. Okay, so one of the things you'll notice is, I'm gonna turn this over. The fat is, I mean, it's super duper soft. This is one of those times where I wish I had a dog and I could feed the fat to a dog or something like that. But I like leaving the fat on. I don't like trimming it because of these stringy bits. To me, those are the best textured bits of the pork, and they're right in with the fat, which, you know, means they have great flavor. Now I also use a bowl, or I'll put something like that, like something in the sink. I usually do this at the sink, but I usually still have my meat, my end product, my, you know, my pulled pork that I'm pulling, and then I have something to throw it. I don't throw it directly like in the trash or anything like that. Just in case I throw a piece that is actually good meat into the bin, I still have a chance to rescue it and put it into the actual pulled pork, the final product pile. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this pulled and just sit back and watch. See what I mean about having the bowl so you can put it in the correct place? So it is almost 2 o'clock in the morning, and you guys see the pulled pork here. So at this point, you saw I poured the juices into the fat separator. If you haven't already, there is a link down in the description for you can pick this up off of Amazon. It used to have a handle, but the handle broke off. At this point, you guys saw me pull the pork. What I do now is I will get a little bit more of the seasonings that I use, get a little more seasoning in here, get a little bit of barbecue sauce in here, and then I will go ahead and get it seasoned up, and I will either weigh it out in case someone is having a party. So this tray here, looking at it, is probably about 8 pounds, maybe 10 pounds at the absolute most worth of pork. So if you were having an event and you hired me to bring you 10 pounds of pork, that would be what it would look like in a tray. But for the purposes of this video, what I would like you guys to do is tell me how you would do this. You know, pulled pork nachos, like sliders, just on a traditional bun. Get creative. Let me know down in the comments what you would do with this pulled pork. I'm gonna finish it in a couple minutes, but I wanted to close out the video by saying thank you so very much as always for watching. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. Make sure you turn the notification bell on so you can be notified whenever one of these videos goes live, and or I start a live stream. I do live streams on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Feel free to join us We typically talk for the first hour for whatever the discussion I come up with, and in the second hour, we just kind of shoot the breeze like we were standing around a pit or a grill or a smoker and chopping it up. Typically beer in hand. So if that sounds like something you'd like to do, please join us on a Wednesday night. Again, 9 p.m. Eastern. Last but not least, thank you so very much again as always for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to comment below with what you would do with this pulled pork.